Much like the Nile, the Indus River came from the mountains carrying large quantities of silt with it, and deposited the soil in the lowlands. There have been occasions where the river has spilled its waters over the floodplains or even left its channel and carved out a new course. Despite this, the river is what made agricultural society possible in northern India. Early cultivators planted their wheat and barley after the floods left and harvested them the next spring. Inhabitants also cultivated and dyed cotton. They may have even kept the world's first domesticated chickens. The Harappan society stretched 932 miles from one end to another, and this was possible because the Indus River facilitated trade, travel, and communications all over the empire. Harappa exported goods such as pottery, tools, and decorative items all over the Indus Valley, and from neighboring peoples in Persia and the Hindu Kush Mountains obtained gold, silver, copper, and semi-precious stones. From what we've seen of Harappan dwellings, that rich and poor people lived very different lives. Poor people usually fit many people into one-room tenements. Wealthier people usually lived in 2- or 3-story houses with dozens of bedrooms, a courtyard, built-in ovens, wells, showers, and toilets. Harappan religion had a strong concern for fertility. They worshipped gods and goddesses who they associated with creation and procreation. They held animals and plants sacred because of their connection with the vital forces. Sometime after 1900 BC, Harappan society entered a period of decline. Much of this is due to deforestation and natural catastrophe. Deforestation is actually the reason why much of the Indus Valley became a desert. Aryans memorized and orally transmitted stories from generation to generation. The earliest of these works was the Vedas, which were collections of hymns, songs, prayers, and rituals honoring the gods. Aryans constantly fought with indigenous peoples in the efforts of establishing their way of life. They also frequently fought among themselves because they were organized into chiefdoms, and their leaders sought to extend their authority by conquering their neighbors. Aryans settled in Punjab, spread east and south, and established communities throughout the Indian subcontinent. After 1000 BC, they began to settle between the Himalayan foothills and the Ganges River. By 500 BC, Aryans migrated as far as the North Deccan. In the hilly and mountainous regions of northern India, councils of elders were recognized as the principal sources of political authority and directed the affairs of small republics. In other places, chiefdoms developed into regional kingdoms, which was the most common form of political organization throughout the Indian subcontinent. The Aryans used the word Varna to refer to social classes. Their classes were based on skin color, with people of paler complexion being closer to the top. The Aryans recognized 4 main Varnas: Brahmins, who were priests; Kshatriyas, who were warriors and aristocrats; Vaishyas, who were cultivators, artisans, and merchants; and Shudras, who were landless peasants and serfs. Later on, untouchables were created. These people were social outcasts and performed the jobs that no one else wanted to perform. According to Indian mythology, Manu was the founder of the human race. During the 1st century BC, an anonymous sage wrote the Law Book of Manu, which advised men to treat women with respect, but insisted that women devote themselves to men and remain subject to their guidance. The Aryans worshipped 2 main gods, Indra and Varuna. Indra was mainly a war god and was sometimes associated with the weather, while Varuna preserved cosmic order from his palace in the sky. They performed a number of ritual sacrifices to these gods that involved specially prepared animals, priests speaking sacred and mysterious chants, and worshippers taking hallucinogens. Upanishads was the practice of disciples gathering before a sage and discussing religion. The Upanishads thought that each person is a part of the universal soul, called Brahman, and is reincarnated. To them, the highest goal of the individual soul is to escape reincarnation and become one with Brahman. The Upanishads came up with several doctrines to explain their line of thought, 2 of which were Samsara, which held that upon death souls go to the world of fathers and return to earth reincarnated. The second is known as karma, which means that if you do something good will happen, and if you do something bad will happen.